Well, students, good evening to all of you. So, guys, today we will discuss the topic curricular adaptations and accommodations. All right. So, this is a unit 3 part of the paper Inclusive Education. This is the lecture 2 of the paper Inclusive Education. All right. Before before the lecture, in the first lecture, I have discussed just in a 1 minute. Okay, I'll discuss in front of you in a 1 minute only because one lecture I have already taken. This is an exam preparation class of a inclusive education, right? In the first lecture, I have discussed about inclusive education, meaning, need, key features, importance, barriers. Then RCI Act 1992 I have discussed. Okay. So I hope you all have gone through. Okay. If you want to see it, you can check your group. I have already sent the video. Otherwise, if you say it, I will send you again, right? So this part I have already done, right? Then models of inclusions. So these are all the things I have already taken, right? So these are the examples of the disabled persons, right? If you remember, I have told you that since independence, we are ignoring the disabled persons. We are ignoring these students, okay? Because we are the teachers, we are the parents, community members. This is our responsibility, to cope up the problem of the, such kind of a student. And we are ignoring that. And it has labeled in our mind, these disabled persons can't do anything. But guys, if you remember, I have given you the example, one or two PPT, being disabled, Stephen Hawking, Albert Einstein, and the John Clark, being disabled, they have done wonders. Okay, he was a person without legs, right? And he set a Guinness World Record. So, being disabled, they have done wonders. So, what happened? Actually, since independence, we are ignoring the disabled persons. Okay. And this is our duty, to cope up the problem of disabled person, right? And now the concept of inclusive education has come. Okay. Here, I just want to tell you a little bit, history of this, because, the concept would be understood by you very easily. Guys, you know what happened? 15, 20 years back, there were a special schools for the disabled person. If there is any disabled person in the class, so what we do that? Being teachers, being principals, being management of the school, we sent the student to the different schools, means to the special education schools. Okay. Now, you know what happened over there? When the disabled person was studying under the special education schools, you know what happened? The the big problem he or she has developed inside. What was the problem? Inferiority complex. Okay. Disabled person started thinking that why I'm different from the normal person? Why I am studying different from the normal students? Okay. Okay. Our view that they should be learn very comfortably in the special education schools. But what happened? They have developed such kind of inferiority complex. Okay. So again, stakeholders, teachers worked on it. So then the concept of a inclusive education emerged. What is the concept of inclusive education? The concept is that if the student is disabled, right, he or she has to learn under a one roof, in a one class. If he has to learn along with the normal student, if he has any kind of a disability, he should not be separated from the school. He should not be separated from the class, right? Because this is a fundamental right of the special education student also. That's why we worked on ourselves. What we had to do that. Okay, basically, we had to train the teachers so that they can cope up the problem of disabled students. But we did the, but what we did that 15, 20 years back, we started making a special schools and we started sending them to the different schools, special education schools. Okay, we are the person who separated the disabled person from the normal students. What happened? They developed the inferiority complex. That inferiority complex, they have decreased the learning. Okay, but now what we have to do, we have to train the teachers, even we have to train ourselves, so that along with the normal children, we have to give lectures to the disabled persons. Okay, and we have to make prepare ourselves regarding the problem of disabled persons. So that's why the concept of inclusive education comes, and we will discuss today curricular adaptations and accommodations. Okay. Then under this, we will discuss meaning difference and needs. Then specifics for children with sensory disabilities. Means, what is the meaning of that? VI, visually impaired. So it means what type of adaptations and accommodations required for the visually impaired student. Got it? And last is specifics for children with sensory disability, HI, means hearing impairment. It means what kind of curricular adaptations and accommodations needed for the hearing impaired candidates, students, okay, who is disabled. Okay, so first we understand curricular adaptations and accommodations. Okay, guys. So what is a curricular adaptations? This is a very much important definitions, and this definitions I have taken from your notes which I have already sent to you, right? What is curricular adaptations and accommodation? Please try to understand this thing, because adaptations or accommodation is clear in your mind. I'm 100% sure the rest of the concept would be clear in your mind. Curricular adaptations refers to the adjustment made to the regular curriculum, including content, teaching method, or assessment strategies to better suit the need of individual student, particularly those with disabilities, allowing them to access and participate in learning. Okay, what is adaptation? Adaptation means adjustment. We have to, being teachers, principals, we have to adjustment into the curriculum, content, teaching method, assessment strategies, so that the disabled person along with the normal person can learn very smoothly. Got it? And what is a curricular accommodation? Curricular accommodation, second is curricular accommodations are specific changes made within the curriculum that provide equal access to the learning without lowering. The most important word is lowering. Without lowering the overall expectations of the material, essentially allowing students to demonstrate their knowledge in a way that best suit their needs. Means we do not have to lowering the syllabus, we don't have to lowering the overall expectations of the material, but we have to provide the accommodations and adaptations so that disabled persons can also learn along with the normal candidates. Got it? Next slide is again curricular adaptations and accommodations. Adapting curriculum. Okay. So what is the adapting curriculum? Adapting curriculum means in inclusive schools, it was said by the Brownlee King, in inclusive schools, the focus is not exclusively on how to help students fit into the existing standard curriculum of the school. The curriculum in the regular education classroom is adapted, right, when necessary to meet the needs of any student for whom the standard curriculum is appropriate or could be better served through adaptation. Means, guys, we know that if the disabled person, any kind of a disability, hearing disability, visual disability, cerebral palsy, mental retardations, whatever the disabled person, he is learning along with the normal candidate. So being teacher, we have to adapt the curriculum, whatever the topic we are teaching to the students, we have to adapt. We have to break down the topic in a very simple way so that that disabled persons could also learn the syllabus very effectively. Got it? Okay, again, curriculum adaptations and accommodations. Okay, the first bullet is very much important. Both adaptations and accommodations aim to provide students with disability the opportunity to participate fully in the classroom and achieve their learning goal. The purpose of a both adaptation and accommodation is the same, right? Disabled persons can participate and fully learn the syllabus along with the normal student. Adaptations can sometimes involve more significant changes to the curriculum, potentially modifying the learning objective, while accommodations typically focus on adjustment to how information is presented or how students respond without altering the core content. Got it? So being teacher, being principal, we have to provide the adaptations, accommodations to the disabled person so that they can also learn along with the normal student. And we do not have to lowering the curriculum, but we have to break down the curriculum so that content, the topic would be easily understood to the students. Right, guys? And now I hope you have this concept is clear regarding the adaptations and accommodations. Okay. So here, one example I ask from you, right? And you have to tell me what it is, adaptations or accommodations. Okay. You know that the paper timing is mostly the 3 hours. Hana, you would be agree with me. In a 3 hours, you have to attempt your paper, Hana, in most of the examinations. Okay. But if the disabled person is giving the paper over there, right? And you know that we give the extra time, right? If 3 hours for the normal student, we give 4 hours for the disabled person. Can you tell me this is the example of a adaptation or accommodation? Can you tell me what we are
Accommodation.
doing? That we are not breaking. You can mute it. You can mute it, guys. You can mute it, right? I'm just understanding you, right? You can mute all of you, right? Because this lecture is recording, right? So we have given a one hour extra to the candidate. So this 1 hour is the. So what we have done that we are not breakdowning the syllabus now. So we are accommodating. So this example of a accommodations, right? So now you can see that example of adaptations and examples of accommodations, right? Example of adaptation means simplifying complex concepts by breaking them down into the smaller unit. Adaptation means when you are in the class and you are teaching to the students, you are breaking down the syllabus, Hana, slowly in a very smooth way, because some of the disabled persons, they are the slow learner, Hana, basically. We cannot say that they are the mad, they are the mentally retarded means he is a slow learner, right? So guys, we are breaking down the syllabus and we are slowing the process so that disabled person is also learning. This is the adaptations, right? Providing differentiated instruction based on the individual needs, adjusting the level of a difficulty of assignment. This is adaptations. Okay, I can give you a lot of examples of adaptation. For example, you are teaching in the class, okay, and you know that in your class, one is a disabled person and he is a disabled with a VI, visually impaired, who is hard to see and who cannot see the properly. Okay. So guys, you should know that in your class, in your 7th class, 8th class, there is a one person who is a disabled. So in your class, you see that he is sitting at the back bench. So this is your duty because you know that he having the problem of a vision. Okay. So you have to, at a very first row, at a very first bench, you can say that the student to sit over there, right? And after the class, you have finished your topic and you are saying that for the student, Usiko, who is a disabled, have you understood the topic or not? What is this? This is adaptation, right? This is adaptation, right? And accommodations example means providing extra time for completing assignment. And if you are conducting a test, okay, all the normal students are doing the test within a 1 hour. And for the disabled persons, you have giving the 1.5 hour. Okay, irrespective of any disability. So what you are doing that you are accommodating. This is an example of accommodation. So I hope curricular adaptations and accommodation is understood to you, correct? Now, need of a curricular adaptations and accommodation we have just discussed. Hana, what is the need of that? Whatever the examples, all things I have given to you, right? So if you want to, read it, so I can read for you. What is the need of a curricular adaptations and accommodations? Basically, as a result of a Right to Education Act 2009, the composition of a classroom is changing. इस एक्ट आने के बाद 2010 में ये एक्ट आया था. What was that act? Universalization of education means every candidate in the country from the 6 to 14 years age, he should have elementary education, right? So from this act, ये act आया था 2010 में, okay? But before the act, many committees, many things, implemented on the different schools. But there was a lot of a child labor, and parents are not so much educated, okay, so that they can send their students to the schools, and others, even the teachers are not aware that. So actually, when the act has come, act क्या होता है? Act is a law. If you will not go according to the act, then you are the persons who can go for a punishment, and by the court and others, if you do not follow if you violate the act. So when the act came, then what happened? Everybody was aware of that, right? So the composition of a classroom is changing. Students with varying level of abilities cannot and should not be taught in the same manner. Without adaptation, modification, some children in your classroom would never be challenged to perform up to their potential, while others may not be able to experience success. Curriculum adaptation involves effective teaching in the classroom that takes into consideration the individual need of all the children, including children with special need and learning difficulties. Got it? Okay. And now we come to the questions. This question has come in the last year. Specific children with a sensory disability, visually impairment. Okay. So first of all, we have to understand, who are visual impaired students, right? And what type of what type of adaptations and accommodations needed for the visually impaired students, right? So first of all, visually impairment. Mostly children with visually impairment learn through the following non-visual modes. Naturally, they cannot see. If they cannot see, so how they will learn? From the non-visual modes, they will learn through, here, touch involving real, concrete material, listening that includes greater use of detailed and descriptive instruction at smell, taste, Hana, because they are the visually impaired. Visually impaired, who is visually impaired? Who can't see and who is hard to see, right? Low vision, visually impaired. So for the visually impaired candidates, students, they learn from the touch involving material, smell, taste, and others. Okay. So next PPT comes, the question, basically the question has come, curricular adaptation and accommodations required by the visually impaired children. Okay, here I have given you, 6 or 7 examples, but in the questions I have written detailed. Okay, you can learn over there. Okay, I have already given you the solved paper of last 2 years, right? So curricular adaptations and accommodation required by the visually impaired children. कौन-कौन सी होती हैं? Braille material, digital text, audio books, voice recording. Naturally, he will learn from audio and, by listening, because he is a visually impaired. Lightning, extended time. Okay, if he's a low vision, so this is our duty. We know that he is a student in the class having the low vision. So then, guys, this is our duty. We have to put the student over there where there is a proper lightning. Okay, because there is a need of a more light to that particular candidate, who having the visually impaired. So these are the these all the adaptations and accommodations, right? Braille material means providing textbook, handouts and other material in a braille if the student reads braille. Braille होता है ना वो उससे, right? Digital text, audio books, है ना? You are aware of that. Provide textbooks in the audio format. Okay. If in your class there is a student with a visually impaired, so then this is your duty to find out the particular book in the audio format, or you have to prepare the lecture, right? You can, what you can do that now we are in the year of educational technology. Okay, you are for example delivering the lecture. Along with that, you can record your lecture. There are so many devices, trust me, so many software, so many apps. With the help of a only laptop, you can record your lecture over there. Even guys, if the student is not disabled, okay, I tell you, if you are teaching in the schools and others, now, okay, sometimes you know that this is an important lecture, you should record it. And after the class, you should put into the group. You should send to the students. Okay, because this is the reason, you know, this work has to be done by the teacher, right? Why you are not giving the lectures, recorded lectures to the armed students, to the normal candidates? Even for the normal candidate we are not doing. Okay, so how we can aware of the disabled person? So guys, this is our duty, right? So this is the mistake we had done 25 years back. We started making the special schools, and we are starting sending the student to the special schools. Over there, they develop the inferiority complex. Why they are separated from the normal candidates? So this is our duty. We have to prepare ourselves. We have to prepare our skills. We have to make ourselves so that even the disabled person who can learn in your class, right? Well, you are such kind of a teacher, right? Every kind of a student you can teach over there, right? So this is the purpose. There is a need of a B.Ed or M.Ed. It has become mandatory for the teacher and the principal, right? And you know, please tell me, many times I have told that without the B.Ed or M.Ed, you are teaching to the student. Basically, you are cheating to the student, because I'm not saying that intentionally you are doing that, but sometimes accidentally happened because you are not aware of that skill. You come in the class and starting the lecture directly. Basically, you are the person who has killed the reasoning power of the student. Whatever you are going to teach to the student, at least make the atmosphere. First of all, make the student ready to the learn. Guys, there is a saying, the outcome of the student depends on the teacher. Student is never ever weak in this world, in this planet, right? So providing voice recording, sitting arrangement, sitting arrangement because visually impaired, right? Lightning, extended time. Okay. Rest, guys, you can learn from the question number 10. Okay, in the notes. Okay. Okay. The next question is specific children with sensory visually impaired. Visually impaired ये हो गया. This is called hearing impaired, right? गलती से लिखा गया यहाँ पे with disability with hearing impaired ही है ना, right? Right, visually तो we are done ना. Okay, now this is a hearing. Okay, specifics for children with sensory disability VI, visually impaired. यहाँ पे आएगा HI, right? Hearing impaired, right? Visually तो we are done ना. अब now the next slide is specifics for children with sensory disability HI, hearing impairment. Hearing means hard to listen, can't listen, right? Ab the person who is a disabled, he is hard to listen, can't listen. So how he can learn? He can learn by viewing, है ना? How he can learn? So what type of adaptation and accommodation you will provide? I have already prepared you. Okay, what the teacher should do that. Okay, how the student will learn in the class who is a hearing impaired. Okay, he will learn from the lip reading of he will follow the lip reading of the teacher. He will follow the image. And he can see now he has a problem of a hearing impairment. Okay, first understand who is a hearing impaired candidates, students. Hearing impairment is a great barrier to the normal development of the language. ये देखो इसमें ये भी आ गया. This also includes the child with such impairment is at a severe disadvantage in virtually all aspect of a language development. Development, acquisition of a speech and language, ये भी hearing impairment में आ गया. Understanding of a abstract concept, reading and spelling, ये सारे आगे उसमें hearing impairment के अंदर. Okay, right? If you there is a one movie Tare Zameen Par. The persons, this is a movie of the actor, the renowned actor Amir Khan, right? He was teacher in the movie, right? Tare Zameen Par. The person, the candidate student, having the problem of this, and he was scolded by all the teachers and parents and others. But the Amir Khan and joined the school and identified the problem and started teaching to the student according to the need of that particular student, and that student got first in the class. Being disabled, he has done wonder. You can give one example more, right? Ab question comes, what type of curricular adaptations and accommodations required for the hearing impaired children? तो क्या होगा? He is hard to listen, can't listen. He can see. Okay. Teach them with the visual object. Teach them with the captioning. Teach them with the sign language. What it is? It is an adaptation. Okay. If in your lecture you are joining the caption होता है ना, नीचे आ जाता है. Whatever you are speaking, नीचे आएगा. There is a lot of softwares, right? So you have joined the caption. So what is it? Basically, you have adapted the caption. This is an adaptation. Visual aid. You are teaching to the student with a visual aid. Whatever the topic you are teaching in the class, okay, you are teaching with the help of a visually. Make the PPT and other things, make the video also, right? What is this? This is adaptation. What is adaptation? You have added the video or visual chart with your lecture. This is adaptation. Got it? Captioning, sign language, clear speech, specialized stuff. तो ये सारी की सारी, these are the adaptations and accommodations, right? Visual aids में use visual support such as chart, diagram, written instructions to complement verbal communications. Captioning, provide captions or subtitles for videos and multimedia resource used in the classroom. Sign language, incorporate sign language, ensure that the teacher and peers are familiar with the basic signs. Clear speech, ensure that teachers speak clearly and face the students while talking to facilitate lip reading if needed. Right? तो ये lip reading देखो, right? ये ना ये देखो ये you should be aware of that, guys. This is the adaptation and accommodations, right? Specialized staff collaborate with the audiologist, speech therapist, or other specialists to address the child specific needs and ensure effective communication strategies are in place. Sometimes if देखो, look at me, if there is a you can say that the initial level of deficiency, okay, irrespective of visually impaired students or hearing impaired student, if there is an initial level of deficiency, so you can overcome it. But if there is a severe, so then there is a need of a one more teacher in the class who is special in, who has done the B.Ed in the special education, who teach along with the normal teacher to the disabled students. Got it? And you have seen that. Sometimes, two teachers teach in the class. So what is the purpose of second teacher? Second teacher is for the disabled persons having the severe deficiencies, right? So this is the curricular adaptations and accommodations required by the hearing impaired children, right? अब बाकी जो है यूनिट 3rd और 4th के 6 to question number 6 to 12 covering all the syllabus, right? So from the PPT we directly move to the notes, right? So guys, these are the notes. You can see that. ये देखिए, this question has come last year, okay? So that along with the PPT, okay, I'll discuss the last year questions also. ये देखो सारा. What do you understand by curricular adaptation? Right? Now I have zoomed out. Now it is clear. Now it is readable to you. Ab I have zoomed out. Okay. This is a adaptation. Right? If if I am here, For example, I'm here and I'm teaching to you. So this is my mistake. I'm not trained, right? Okay, I know that you can't see it. How will you learn? So what I have done that I have zoom out, right? Because I know that how to zoom out. So I have zoom out. So this is adaptation. Got it? So teacher must trained in this. Got it, guys? Question is, what do you understand by curricular adaptations and accommodation? Discuss the need of a such modifications for children with special needs. तो ये कॉमन क्वेश्चन ही आ गया. मतलब he is not talking about specific visually impairment or not talking about hearing impairment. He is talking about the special needs. Student with the special needs. Mean all type of a disability has come. Right? So first you have to define meaning of a curricular adaptations and accommodations. ये देखो ये सारी example जो मैं PPT में है, I have taken from here. Okay? So that you will learn easily. And then ये देखो, the following are the examples of strategies, curricular adaptations and children with special needs. ओके, स्पेशल नीड्स में पहले विजुअली इंपेयर्ड बता दिया, फिर हेयरिंग इंपेयर्ड बता दिया, फिर कॉग्निटिव इंपेयर्ड विद इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबिलिटी बता दिया. तो वो सारा का सारा, और ये आ गया उनका कैसे कैसे उनको अडेप्टेशंस और अकोमोडेशंस प्रोवाइड करनी है. राइट, ये एडिशनल नोट्स में है. राइट, सेवंथ क्वेश्चन देखो. Seventh question has come. What type of a 6 to 12 now we have to discuss. Even 6 to 11 में खत्म हो रहा है. What type of a curricular adaptations and accommodations are needed the children with hearing impairment? Okay. So what you have to do? First, you have to define the curricular adaptations and accommodations. Then you have to talk about who are the hearing impaired students. Who are the hearing impaired students? Then अब देखो what I did that. Earlier I was here. है ना? I thought that, voice is not audible to all of you. So I have come nearby. So now, my voice is audible to you. This is the adaptations, guys. Sometime in a class, now we have to aware of that. Because if we are not following it, now, so by accidentally, okay, there is a loss of the student. Okay. And we think ourselves that I have prepared a lecture and I have given it very effectively, but you are unaware of the some such of the skills. Due to unaware of the skills, okay, student couldn't get the full advantage. So in this question, first talking about curricular adaptations and accommodations, then talk about the hearing impairment, or what are the adaptations and accommodations required for the hearing impaired candidates, hearing impaired students. तो ये सारे के सारे पॉइंट्स आ जाएंगे. ये देखो साइन लैंग्वेज है ना, ये सारा हेयरिंग इम्पेयर्ड है ना, ही कैन सी, ये सारे आ गए. ये देखो करिकुलर एडेप्टेशंस, विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड, विजुअली एड्स, कैप्शंस, एनहांस्ड कम्युनिकेशंस. ओके, सो ये जैसे मर्जी आप यू कैन लर्न इट. ओके, राइट, either you can learn from here like in the point wise. Okay, you can write the running also. Second is a 8th question, what are the barriers? तो वो खत्म हो गया हमारा. ठीक है, अब ये 4th यूनिट का क्वेश्चंस आ गया. What are the barriers to inclusive education in India? How can these addressed, or what are the measures to remove these? Right, unit 4 में से आ गया. This question has come from unit 4. तो ये already guys we have discussed, okay, in the unit 1, in the part 1 lecture. Okay, so you can watch also in my part 1 lecture. This part 2 lecture is also recording. Okay, and after finishing of the class, it will also go on online and I'll send you in your group. Okay, don't worry. So ये सारा here you have to talk about inclusive education. Then then you have to talk about the barriers of inclusive education, physical barriers. ये देखो सारे points आ गए ना. Social attitude नहीं था ना तो unit 4 में. Social attitude, physical barriers, ये सारे barriers हैं for the inclusive education. Syllabus is also a barrier. Okay, if any stakeholder makes a very difficult syllabus, this is also a barrier. Now you have seen that all the syllabus of all the classes is very easy, right? You know that na 20 years back kya tha? What was the scenario 15-20 years back in India? The syllabus was so difficult, even some students were doing the suicide because they were not up to the expectation of the marks, right? So ये सारे barriers हैं. Okay, अब वो barriers को remove कैसे करना है? राइट, ये सारे पॉइंट्स है फ्रॉम हाउ वी कैन रिमूव द बैरियर्स. ओके, तो ऑलरेडी वी हैव डिस्कस मेनी टाइम्स, 2-3 टाइम्स ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन, राइट. अब ये देखो, ये भी 4th यूनिट में से आया है. डिस्कस द रोल ऑफ ए फैमिली सपोर्ट कम्युनिटी इन्वॉल्वमेंट इन फैसिलिटेटिंग इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन ऑफ ए चिल्ड्रन विद स्पेशल नीड. राइट, ये देखो फैमिली सपोर्ट भी बहुत जरूरी है. राइट, समटाइम ना फैमिली मेंबर्स, पेरेंट्स ऑफ द, suppose parents having the 2 children, one is a disabled, so parents started labeling the disabled candidates, he can't do anything, right? And you know what happened when they grow up? Even the disabled persons, I have seen many times. Okay, there is a one example. Okay, so it is along with my friends. Okay, the daughter hai, he was the person who was not looking about the daughter. Okay, he thought that uski marriage kar di, but later on she is on a well position, she is earning well, right, being disabled, right. Or other normal children wo usse kam hai in fact. So lot of examples we have seen that, right guys? So we shouldn't label that if the student is a disabled, can't do anything. Okay. Our history tells us, a lot of example tells us being disabled, they have done wonders, right? So do not judge the students, right? Teacher to shouldn't judge na, right? तो ये सारे सारे points आपके guys वो आ जाएंगे, right? सो और उसके बाद एक क्वेश्चन है, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ए स्पेसिफिक करिकुलर एडेप्टेशंस एंड अकोमोडेशंस रिक्वायर्ड फॉर ए विजुअली इंपेयर्ड. तो वी आर डन इन द पीपीटी ना, राइट, फॉर द सेकेंडरी स्कूल लेवल, राइट. विजुअली इंपेयर्ड का भी ये भी हो गया था हमारा 6 to 12, राइट. 11th क्वेश्चन आ गया, ये देखो लोकोमोटर डेवलपमेंट भी आ गया, राइट. लोकोमोटर डेवलपमेंट और accommodations are required, adaptations accommodation required for the persons with locomotor disabilities. तो ये सारा locomotor disability आ गया, ठीक है ना. here there is a problem, तो he cannot movement, there is a problem of a movement. okay, so ये nerve system से related ही है ये भी problem. okay, न्यूरो का एक क्वेश्चन था और ये क्वेश्चन इज ए सेम. Last questions are define advocacy. What is the importance of advocacy for rights of children with special need? तो ये देखो advocacy means it refers to the active support and promotion of a cause, policy or a group rights and interest. In the context of special needs, advocacy involves effort to ensure that these children receive appropriate services, accommodation, support with educational system and broader society. Advocate hota na, who is the advocate? Na, his profession is advocacy. He is an advocate in particular field. So he is specialized in particular field and he provides the advocacy. So ये word वहीं से advocacy means ही है, right guys? तो ये फिर सारा का सारा how define advocacy, what is the importance of advocacy for the rights of a children with special needs, right? तो ये points हैं सारे, what type of a advocacy required for the children with the special needs. Okay. So we also done the PPT. We also done the 6 to 12 questions. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for this lecture. Thank you so much.